Welcome to the SVG-TV news for Thursday, October 19th. With the details tonight, I'm Khalil Cato. Attorney General Grenville Williams has stressed the importance of community policing in fighting crime here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Addressing the opening ceremony of a 3-day crime scene management course for 30 officers at the Argyle Fire Station training room on Tuesday, Williams implored police officers to go out into the various communities to meet and interact with the people who will be able to assist them in fighting crime.
Many of us may say that there are people on the block, they are delinquents, they are up to no good. But ask yourself as a police officer, how often do you go on the block and sit with those guys and find out what is their perspectives? If I see you as a police officer and I'm simply on the block, but I do not feel an association, a connection with you, why would I cooperate with you? I'm not asking you to sit there and encourage delinquent behavior, bad behavior, but I'm asking you to develop a rapport with the members of the community, and they will feel that they have a sense of responsibility for keeping the peace in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Keeping the peace is not the job of the police. It is the job of the whole of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You are 1,000 in a population of 110,000. You cannot be everywhere. But if our citizens feel comfortable engaging with you, then they also serve as agents of peace in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we can be more effective. So engage with the members of our community.
Williams also stressed the importance for police officers to have the necessary tools, including vehicles, to respond to crime in a timely manner.
I will say one thing, however, is that when you are given these vehicles, you also have a duty and a responsibility to be accountable and responsible for the proper care and maintenance of these vehicles, because they come to you at a cost. And if we do not take care of them, it means we have to constantly replace them, and we cannot provide something else, ammunition, additional training, whatever it is. So you have a responsibility to take care of these tools when they are made available to you. One of the things I would like to see, and maybe you have it, maybe you don't, but it's what I would call an all-points bulletin system, a computerized system, so that if there is a crime in Chateaubelair, the officer responsible for entering the information goes on the computer, enters that data, and it is shared with all police forces, all police stations across the nation simultaneously, so that if you're in Kingston and there's a report about a vehicle, for example, and an officer in Kingston encounters that vehicle, they know how to engage with that vehicle. But that information must be shared in a timely fashion, and it must be shared right across the country. That's an important system. Intelligence-led policing, again, you're only 1,000. As part of your strategy, there must be important use of intelligence. And your Commissioner of Police, he has significant experience in that regard. So I expect him to, of course, lead the charge as it relates to intelligence-led policing. But that is critical.
Noting that it is a small group of persons who are perpetrating the crimes in the country, the Attorney General says it is critical that police keep them on their radar.
It's a small group of persons involved in firearm-related homicides. We don't have hundreds of shooters in this country. We have a few. And as good police officers, most of you would be able to say, I know, I have a good idea who that person is. We may not have the evidence, which is why this course is important, but we have the knowledge that those are the individuals involved. Why do I emphasize that? Because it is critical that we target those individuals. If we have only a handful of persons creating the majority of the problems in our society, if we are continuously focused on them, if we are vigilant in following their activities, sooner or later, we are going to be able to detect their activities, disrupt their activities, gather the evidence, make an arrest, and obtain a successful prosecution of those individuals and take them off the streets of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. What you have to understand is that this is our country. St. Vincent and the Grenadines belong to all of us, and we cannot have a small group of people tarnishing the reputation of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Williams says it is also an unfortunate situation when murders are placed on the front page of local newspapers, noting that this sends a bad message about the country.
Because that sends a message that criminality is reigning in this country. It sends a message to our regional counterparts that St. Vincent and the Grenadines is a crime-ridden country. It sends a message to the global community that crime is out of hand in this country. And is that true? The answer to that is a resounding no. But if we put that negative news, those criminals on the front pages of our newspapers, it sends a bad message. They should be in the back somewhere. As on, the victim is important, but the criminal, they are not so important, and we need to treat them in that way as it relates to the media. I will say, however, as police officers, when you make an arrest, the same way that the media is now putting the criminals on the front page, you also need to put those arrests and those successful prosecution on the front page, because our public needs to have confidence that where crime is committed, that the police is going to be effective and they are going to feel safe and be able to cooperate with you more.
The training course, which seeks to improve the competence, capability and performance of police officers to secure, preserve, examine and manage crime scenes, culminated today with a practical exercise. At the closing ceremony of the training course, Acting Commissioner of Police Enville Williams implored the participants to go back to their various units, branches and stations to put into practice what they have learned.
Now, as I said on Monday or Tuesday, you don't have to wait till you get to a big crime scene to put the concept into practice. Choose a small, and you go to wherever you go, put it in practice. I will tell you a story. My background is in intelligence. So every time I get in my car, once I move, I start running what we call surveillance detection rules. Yes, we have one street, but I can almost tell you every time, every vehicle plate that comes behind. Why? Because every opportunity I get to practice the craft, I practice the craft. I say that to say, and to implore you, that every opportunity you get to do a crime scene and to do what you are taught, because practice inevitably makes perfection. Not just practicing sake, like was said on Tuesday, but practicing the right things that you are taught. No shortcuts. Because when you practice the right set of tools, then St. Vincent is better. Because we will catch criminals who believe that taking the law into their own hand is what it is. We'll catch them because you leave footprints, you become sloppy and drop things, and when you do, we are right there to collect evidence that you discard.
Chief of Operations and Intelligence at the CARICOM Implementation Agency for Crime and Security Impacts, Dr. Andre Clark, said while many areas of crime scene management were covered during the 3-day training, one of the key things he would like participants to take away from the course is thinking long-term when processing a crime scene.
Because what we do as first responders inevitably impacts on what happens at court. The integrity of forensics and exhibits, and being able to stand the test of time, continuity, and to provide the evidence we need to secure conviction, so that our victims and the families can benefit from democracy and justice, right, facilitated by us. So as I said, we thoroughly enjoyed that, particularly today, as I'm sure you will agree. Thank you for your commitment and your hard work. We appreciate it, and thank you very much on behalf of CARICOM Impacts and RSS.
National Coordinator of the RSVG Police Force Police Youth Clubs, Sergeant Stephen Billy, said good parenting plays an important role in the development of children, noting that some of the issues facing society today is due to the lack of proper parental guidance. Sergeant Billy was speaking on the issue on the Cop Chat program today on WeFM.
That is where the Police Youth Club comes in now to bridge the gap. We are here to lend a softer side to the police. It is not all about arresting and charging and taking before the court. It is not.
You're meeting them before they get to that
point,
right,
where we are assisting them to show them a different route rather than crime and violence. Show them that they can socialize without becoming involved in criminal activities. You can socialize without smoking and drinking. You know, you can have clean fun. You can be a part of a club that treats you like a family, that embraces you. And Ms. London hinted to it. Because sometimes for lack of finances, we ourselves as coordinators have to be dipping into our pockets to meet the needs of these children. And we have our own family, our own children. And this is the kind of thing that we do on a regular basis. So this is not an easy task, but we recognize it's something that has to be done, and somebody has to take the challenge, and we would have embraced that. All the challenges that come our way and all. So that is basically the heart of the Police Youth Club, to meet these youths.
Sergeant Billy said the police youth clubs need all the support they can get from the community level, noting that some persons do not take an interest in youth development as they ought to.
In the end, we are adults and we have learned to take criticism and we can deal with that. But if we give up on the youths, then we will be in a dire strait in the end. And we who are now persons in position to give support or to lend a helping hand, and we take a hands-off approach. When we retire and we want to live in our mansions and our thing, we got to end up living in prisons if we do not really, galvanize the youths now and guide them and steer them away from this life of crime that seems to be so attractive, or a life of alcoholism, drugs abuse, whether they're dealing or using it, and this total disrespect or breakdown. Where you see all the videos in the different thing about school children fighting and cursing and doing.
And the negative is glamorized.
Right. That's what I'm saying. What are we doing? What are we doing as a nation? It's not all about, who is in power, who is not, what the police is doing, what the government doing, what the prime minister is doing. I mean,
we
have to start somewhere.
It really does.
It's your role in the development and nurturing of children and children.
And some of these children are your own children. Are your own family members. What are you doing? What is your part?
And for me, what it always goes back to is the fact that these children are within our communities.
Exactly my point.
So when you hear of let's say crime taking place in the community or delinquent behavior, etc., if you're not a part of training the children or encouraging and motivating them, then they're going to be in the future our problem.
An update now on the weather. The SVG Meteorological Service says outer bands of Tropical Storm Tammy are likely to generate pockets of moderate to heavy showers, thunderstorm activity and occasional gusty winds from later today and during Friday. In addition, due to an expected gradual deterioration in sea conditions, a marine advisory will remain in effect until further notice. The SVG Met Service says on the latest forecast track, the center of Tropical Storm Tammy is expected to pass well north of mainland St. Vincent tomorrow, and on this track it is not expected to directly impact SVG, therefore no tropical storm watch is required. The public is advised, however, to stay informed with the progress of the system, and the Met Office says it will continue to closely monitor Tropical Storm Tammy and issue updates and/or advisories as necessary. Acting Prime Minister and Minister of Transport and Works Montgomery Daniel said Cabinet has given approval for the start of Phase 3 of the National Road Rehabilitation Program. Speaking on NBC Radio's Face-to-Face program yesterday, Minister Daniel provided an update on the road project, noting that over 40 roads across St. Vincent and the Grenadines are scheduled to be rehabilitated this year.
For some, on Phase 3, some 45 roads to be done. There has been, where of the 45 roads overall, Phase 1, 2, and 3 has been established to the extent that Phase 1 has had tender packages organized. That would have been done on the 13th of October. on phase 2, the packages will be established on October the 20th. Phase 3, those packages will be established on the 25th of October, so that before year end, we would see a number of roads where the work would have been started.
Minister Daniel said under the National Road Rehabilitation Project, there is a vacant position for an engineer to design the roads to be rehabilitated, noting that Brangza is slightly behind time with some of their work, but they have given the assurance that they will make up for lost time.
That one is also to come on stream, but most of all the other individuals are on stream. The construction manager, we have 8 engineers on the team there. 8 engineers from Cuba, and the civil technicians and the surveying team and so on, they are all on board. So the unit is fairly well established now. As you know, the cabinet would have approved 2 main contractors, OECC and BRAXA. OECC has already signed their contract of just over $31 million, of course, and they have a contract for 24 months. And their commencement date to work is the 20th of September. They are already on the ground. They have been already mobilized, and they are proceeding to do work. Of course, they have indicated to the cabinet they would want to have their own crushing plant and their own concrete batching plant, and cabinet has so approved in this regard.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines has established diplomatic relations with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in accordance with the provisions of the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations of 1961. According to a news release published today by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, both countries formally established diplomatic relations on October 11, 2023. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs noted in the release that the joint communique was signed by SVG's ambassador to the United Nations, Her Excellency Inga Rhonda King, on behalf of the government of SVG, and His Excellency Abdulaziz M. Al-Wasil, ambassador of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to the United Nations, on behalf of the government of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The news release further noted that the governments are desirous of strengthening the friendly relations and developing further cooperation in various fields. The credit unions in St. Vincent and the Grenadines joined the international community today in celebrating the 75th anniversary of the International Credit Union Day under the theme Towards Financial Inclusion and Empowerment for All. International Credit Union Day has been celebrated on the third Thursday of October since 1948. In a message to mark the occasion, President of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Cooperative League Limited, Marian Roach, explained the significance of the theme.
The theme conveys a commitment to creating an inclusive and empowering financial ecosystem where everyone, regardless of their circumstances, can access essential financial services, gain financial knowledge, and ultimately have the opportunity to improve their financial well-being. It signifies a dedication to removing barriers and ensuring that financial services and empowerment resources are accessible to all members of society, fostering greater economic stability and prosperity for individuals and communities. As we join with our international family, comprising 394 million members in 118 countries, to celebrate the uniqueness and virtues of our credit union movement, the developments of the recent past give us a profound appreciation of the benefits of being a member of a credit union. We are thankful for the lives and communities that have been improved by the unique principles and actions of our credit union movement.
Roach said despite the ongoing challenges and risks, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines credit union sector remains safe, sound and resilient as they advance their mission of positively impacting lives and communities and celebrate the sustained growth and strength of the credit union industry.
In St. Vincent and the Grenadines today, there are 87,400 members across 4 league-affiliated credit unions with 18 branches. The St. Vincent and the Grenadines credit union sector accounts for EC 591 million in savings and EC 716 million in assets. St. Vincent and the Grenadines is at the top of the global ranking in terms of credit union membership growth, with a rate of 76% based on total credit union members versus total population as a measure of membership penetration. We commemorate International Credit Union Week and the high point of International Credit Union Day with a sense of pride, accomplishment, and satisfaction with our achievements during the past year, despite the many challenges and difficulties. In the face of new realities, we encourage our credit unions to remain proactive in bringing about change and improving livelihoods by being inclusive, putting people first, and promoting the benefits of financial inclusion and access to affordable and sustainable financial services.
International Credit Union Week is being celebrated here with a week of activities. The activities today included a health fair, a glow and run event, members and stakeholders outreach, credit union messages and testimonials. Tomorrow is Pink Friday and Employee Appreciation Day. The week of activities will culminate with a church visit on Sunday. Agriculture instructor in the plant protection and quarantine unit of the Ministry of Agriculture, Renrick Williams, said having wholesome, nutritious food is more important for food security than just having the availability of food. Williams was speaking with SVG-TV News on the sidelines of the World Food Day exhibition held on Monday at the Postal Corporation car park.
It must be always accessible to you. Well, you need food to live. That's basically you need food to live. There's some food you can use in terms of recycling for animals, for livestock, and also for doing composting. Because a lot of people don't know that composting composting has been going on for years, for centuries, and avoiding the waste of food you can use it in a recycling manner to produce compost. That's an example I'm giving. To produce compost that can be beneficial back for your production of crops.
Engineering technician for hydrology at the Central Water and Sewerage Authority, Viali Richards, said compared to other jobs, including those in construction, there are not a lot of young dedicated persons who are involved in the farming industry in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Also, I think that we need persons who are trained, and I know there are persons here who are trained in that area, but we need some innovation, some form of enthusiasm amongst technocrats to take innovation to a different level. Find innovative financing and stuff like that, to do food processing plants and so on. That would reduce the cost that we pay for food. If we could buy local or imported. I mean, as I see here, my brothers and sisters here, they are retailers that sell honey and various products that I would have tasted, and they taste very good. It's better than IGA, it's better than Aunt Jemima, and so we need to have some of that support these people. So food security is very important, it's imperative. We can't feed a nation can't walk, we can't live. We need water and food.
World Food Day was celebrated on Monday, October 16th under the theme, Water is Life, Water is Food, with the slogan, Leave No One Behind. Outlining the importance of the treachery industry to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Chief Fisheries Officer Jennifer Cruikshank Howard said that with the launch of the new identification cards for freshwater fish and crustaceans conceptualized by retired Principal John Renton, it will help place more interest on treachery fishers in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Cruikshank Howard was at the time addressing the launch of the new identification cards for freshwater fish and crustaceans of SVG on Tuesday.
And since the eruptions of the La Soufrière volcano 2 years ago, we see the importance of this special group of fishers in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And since that time, we have been paying special attention to that type of fishery. Yes, we know we had treachery. I born in a village, grew up in a village where they catch treachery. They're still catching, but because of other developments, it's very limited there now. But if we know how nature operates, Chichi will always be around. I was born and raised in Buckerman Bay, and have known Chichi all my life. It is a delicacy I cannot express. Many of us, when we send a gift overseas, is some Chichi cake or the raw Chichi. And it is very important for our local persons who operate in these communities, especially the females. It is an important industry to our females, especially those who are single parents in some of these communities. Just last week, we had an exchange with fishers from Dominica, Chichi fishers.
Education Officer for Science, Juanita Hunt King, said that the knowledge on the identification cards will make more people become familiar with the tree and a lot more will eat it as they are now aware of where it comes from.
Knowledge is what drives, and education through our Ministry of Education, we need to see that our students have this knowledge about the fishes in the rivers of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Now, before we will have a lot of questions about what are these fishes in St. Vincent and Grenadines and the crustaceans as well. I can tell you from my personal experience that I have never really eaten any tree. And that's because of a lack of knowledge. I always heard about tree. I see the little things, you know, but I don't know what they are. And I remember having this conversation with Mr. Renton back when we were teaching together. And I always told him, you know, I don't know what tree is. And he said, I know. And he was the first person that I ever heard actually boldly declare that he knows what they are. So, Mr. Renton, maybe, you know, maybe because of this card, we can now see maybe an increase in persons who eat tree just because they didn't know what they were before. But yes, so education is very important. We've already started to distribute these cards in a number, in all of our schools actually.
Deputy Director of the National Parks Authority, Rhodesia Simmons-Tanis, said that the National Parks, Rivers and Beaches Authority is very grateful for the work done on the project, noting that the cards will go a long way in the conservation efforts of the authority.
Because it incorporates not just only the traditional methods, but it allowed for persons within the community to get involved and to be a part of it. And now we have information that allows both visitors, students, and even persons who are traveling to St. Vincent to have a better understanding of what is contained in our rivers and to have that information readily available to them when it is published. There are now new possibilities because we can now go to the river, identify fishes, identify different species, and now it creates a whole new sense and persons can now see the river in a whole new way. And in looking at the card, the first thing came to my mind was the possibility of having a new tour experience for visitors. It's been done in other parts of the world where persons would come, they would go to a river, and they'd look at the species contained there. And it makes a very interesting tour because I've done one. So we applaud the work being done here, and we look forward to supporting Mr. Renton and his team with the rest of the project components.
Breast cancer is said to be one of the leading cancers in SVG and across the globe. Edna Bonnet, who resides in New York, is a 21-year breast cancer survivor. Sharing her story via Zoom on NBC Radio's Let's Face It program on Tuesday, Bonnet said even though she was stunned on receiving her diagnosis, she went 2 weeks without thinking about it, noting that she had a sense that something was off and the Holy Spirit urged her to get a mammogram screening.
I was thinking, am I going to be this or so ill that I will not be able to attend my daughter's wedding? Mm-hmm. Will I be able to see my other children? I have 3 children grow up, and also my grandchildren. Will I live to watch them grow up? So all these things are going through your mind. At the same time, you're looking for the best options in regards to what doctors to go to and what your behavior should be and what kind of treatment will be most effective. So all those things are running through your mind all at the same time, and I am also planning my daughter's wedding. We need to be more open and to share whatever is happening in our lives with others. Knowing that you know, we're not alone. We are a body of people when it comes to the household of faith, and as God's children, we need to just be very open and to share with one another what's happening in our lives.
Bonnet is urging women of all ages to get an annual mammogram screening done for the early detection of breast cancer.
Examine yourself. There is no reason why we as women cannot examine ourselves once a month. You have to know your body, sisters. If something looks off, if it doesn't look right, if the shape is different or the color is different, if there is a discharge or something is wrong, go to the doctor immediately. Eat healthy. You guys have a ton of vegetables and fruits in St. Vincent. Eat more fruits and vegetables. Exercise regularly. I know you have an ocean, you're surrounded by water. Go for a walk on the beach. Go for a swim. If you can't do this every day, well, you know, once a week or 3 times a week, whenever you can. Walk, jog, swim. And if you are diagnosed, share your story. Get free resources. It's available. And spread awareness. Talk to your friends and family, your co-workers. Talk to everyone who will listen. Share your story and encourage others.
This month is being observed as Breast Cancer Awareness Month under the theme, Keep Her in the Picture, which is a call for everyone to look out for the well-being of the important women in their lives.